Have you ever wondered just how far a person can go in their quest for redemption? When everything is at stake, can William Tell escape his dark past and reclaim his freedom? What choices stand between him and the ultimate resolution? Dive into this suspense-filled world and uncover the answers.
Is its own defense, it is hard to attack from without.
The film begins in Switzerland, with Europe on the brink of war. Wilhelm Tell, a former crusader known for his exceptional crossbow skills, is getting ready for a hunting expedition with his son, Walter. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the area, 3 farmers notice a group of feared Austrian horsemen called the Wolfshot, who are notorious tax collectors. One of the farmers, Conrad Baumgarten, realizes they're heading to his house for taxes. At home, Conrad's wife gives them the payment, though it's less than normal. The collector demands that she prepare food for his men and draw him a bath. In a nearby forest, Wilhelm and Walter are stalking a deer. Wilhelm tells his son to aim carefully, emphasizing their role as hunters, not barbarians. Walter shoots but misses. As a storm approaches, Wilhelm decides they should find shelter in the village. At his home, Conrad hears his wife screaming and rushes back, only to find that the collector has assaulted and killed her. Overcome by anger and sorrow, Conrad sneaks inside, attempting to drown the man. Despite being injured in the fight, Conrad manages to fatally stab the collector multiple times. He escapes into the forest with soldiers right behind him. As a storm arrives, Wilhelm helps fishermen bring their boats in. Conrad, injured and desperate, begs for help to cross the tumultuous lake and explains his situation. The frightened fishermen refuse, worried for their families, but Wilhelm decides to assist. He asks Walter to bring his wife and horses to meet them at the waterfall. Shortly afterwards, the Wolfshot come to the village, attacking villagers and setting houses on fire in their ruthless search for Conrad. Meanwhile, Wilhelm and Conrad successfully cross the lake by boat. In Habsburg Castle, Austria, the news of the tax collector's killing reaches King Albert of Habsburg, who appoints Gessler as bailiff to impose order in the canton. To expand his control, the king arranges a strategic marriage between Gessler and Lady Bertha, his niece. At the waterfall, Wilhelm's wife, Suna, arrives with horses and treats Conrad's injuries. She warns Wilhelm about the potential danger of helping Conrad, but Wilhelm is adamant about doing the right thing. Accepting this, Suna leaves, knowing her husband won't give up. Wilhelm plans to take Conrad to an old noble friend from the Crusades who can provide shelter. Meanwhile, in Switzerland at Castle Edhausen, Lord Adding hosts his nephew, Prince Rudin.
Rudens.
I must be away.
Wait!
Do you know what the Austrians call us? Peasant nobles.
He presents their household's customs by offering a ceremonial drink from a single cup to represent unity, saying, "One cup, one heart." However, Rudin rejects this gesture, arguing that the people should seek favor with the Austrian crown instead. Since Adding has no son, Rudin is expected to continue the family legacy, but he scorns this role, criticizing the Austrians for calling them noble peasants. Rudin is eager to obtain more prestige and influence in Austria. Meanwhile, Wilhelm and Conrad visit Wilhelm's old friend, Stuffacer. He and his wife, Gertrude, warmly welcome them and share a meal. During dinner, Gertrude fervently encourages them to resist Austrian oppression, but Wilhelm refuses because he doesn't want to put his family at risk. He tells her that even if she gathers men to fight, it will only lead to their deaths. Abruptly, Gessler and his men show up at the house, causing Conrad to panic. To conceal him, they disguise Conrad in servant's clothing. Gessler orders a search and immediately notices that Wilhelm remains seated calmly, eating, while everyone else stands in his presence. Gessler admires Wilhelm's crossbow and mentions the recent murder of a tax collector, probing for any hint of guilt. As Gessler speaks, Conrad becomes visibly nervous, his heart racing, causing his wound to bleed and stain his clothes.
If there's something you need to say to me, I'd say it now. People, and I leave them naked and trembling before me.
Quickly shifting Gessler's attention, Wilhelm hands him his crossbow while Stuffacher invites him for dinner. Gessler refuses and departs, but his assistant, Stissy, becomes suspicious. Stissy senses something is wrong and asks Gessler to investigate Wilhelm's true identity. After the tense meeting, Stufatcher reprimands Wilhelm for risking their safety. Yet, Gertrude insists they must unite and resist. She urges Wilhelm, Conrad, and Stater to head to Elorf to meet Father First, a priest and possible ally. In Austria, Rudin arrives at the court to serve King Albert but is in a romance with Lady Bertha, who pleads with him not to sacrifice his morals for ambition. On the way to Elorf, Wilhelm, Conrad, and Stufatcher witness a shocking event: Austrian soldiers seizing livestock and killing a resisting woman. Melch, a family member and skilled fighter, retaliates with a scythe, killing soldiers with fierce skill. As more soldiers arrive, Melch's father tells him to escape into the forest. Melch meets Wilhelm and the group, who stop him from further violence. However, the soldiers capture his father and begin torturing him. In agony, Melch pleads with Wilhelm to end his father's pain. Wilhelm agrees and precisely shoots to grant mercy from afar. Discovering they're not alone, Wilhelm and Stufatcher use their crossbows to eliminate the rest. They flee, realizing the rebellion has begun. The group reaches Elorf, witnessing Austrian soldiers attacking the townspeople.
Your enthusiasm for the fight, but hot thoughts beget hot deeds, and hot deeds can destroy us all.
Adding to their anger and resolve, Gessler arrives with his troops at the grisly scene of the ambush to examine the aftermath. Furious at the massacre, he instructs Stissy to hunt down the attackers. Gessler inspects a crossbow bolt taken from a body and immediately recognizes it. That evening, Wilhelm consults Father First, a respected priest, asking him to act as a spokesperson to rally the cantons against the Austrian rule. The next day, in a show of power and to belittle the Swiss, Gessler commands that poles be erected in public areas, each adorned with a helmet symbolizing the king's authority. A mandate is issued requiring every citizen to bow to the helmet in submission as they pass by. Wilhelm, staunch and unbending, declines to do so, prompting Gessler's men to arrest him. As the townspeople rise in protest, Gessler arrives with Rudin and Lady Bertha. In a cruel twist, and undeterred by public anger, Gessler presents Wilhelm with a way to earn his freedom, by shooting an apple off his son's head. Wilhelm, against all odds, accomplishes the shot. After confessing that he had a second arrow ready to kill Gessler if his son was harmed, Gessler captures him again. Furious at the unfairness, Rudin tries to fight Gessler but is soon overpowered. Before being taken away, Wilhelm encourages Rudin to seek help from his uncle, Lord Adding.
What was 50 is now 100 and will soon be more. We cannot control this crowd, my lord.
Then take him, entomb him in the dungeon.
There will be no martyr's grave. Your history will never be written.
However, when Rudin arrives, his uncle is dying. With his last words, the old lord asks Rudin to be true to his homeland. Inspired, Rudin commits to the cause, and soon, leaders from various regions gather, uniting as one nation. Meanwhile, Wilhelm is being transported across the same stormy lake where he once helped Conrad flee. As another storm approaches, the boat has to dock. Bertha appears and secretly frees Wilhelm, and they escape into the woods. Local hunters inform Wilhelm that Gessler is heading to Kusen. Wilhelm ambushes him in a gorge, but while he injures Gessler's hand, the bailiff escapes, and Wilhelm has to run. Before setting out on a mission to ask King Albert to stop backing Gessler, Bertha advises Wilhelm not to let revenge take over. He should fight with purpose, not anger. Wilhelm joins the resistance, only to find out about a failed attack on Gessler's Allendorf garrison. The strike was betrayed by a traitor, and Gertrude was killed in the chaos. With determination, Wilhelm takes up leadership of the rebels, preparing them for a new offensive. As Gessler waits for reinforcements from King Albert, the resistance readies itself for the upcoming battle. Bertha, unwilling to stay silent, boldly confronts her uncle, King Albert, about his oppressive rule.
Feared more than loved. Good men die in your name, and each more new widow's house.
And march! Aldorf!
She is captured and given a death sentence, but a sympathetic cousin helps her break free. In a bold act, Bertha kills Albert in his bed, delivering a deadly blow to the Habsburg rule. Meanwhile, Wilhelm begins the final stage of the uprising, confronting Gessler at Altonorf's gates and distracting him. Simultaneously, rebels enter the city through a hidden tunnel and take control by dawn, opening the gates for Wilhelm's troops. A fierce battle ensues, where Gessler, fighting violently, kills Rudin and Stufer. In desperation, He takes Wilhelm's son, Walter, hostage and threatens the townspeople, hoping Habsburg reinforcements will shift the balance. However, news comes that King Albert is dead, and the reinforcements have retreated. Gessler's hopes fade as his troops start surrendering. Walter, refusing to be a bargaining chip, escapes Gessler. Face to face with his enemy, Wilhelm is ready to land the final blow, but Walter intervenes, reminding him they are hunters, not barbarians. Wilhelm lowers his weapon, leaving Gessler to face his own demise. 3 days later, exhausted from the fight, Wilhelm seeks a peaceful life. But Bertha arrives with dire news. Albert's daughter, Agnes, has sworn revenge on the Swiss and Wilhelm for her father's death. A darker and bloodier conflict awaits, and Switzerland's fight for freedom is not over. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thanks and see you again soon. Take care.